is Dingo done?
I think Dingo's done. I would get all the attention for the texture. And everybody loves petting Dingo, right? But I would never get...
I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a new series that we're going to be starting today. This is called Behind the Builds, and we are here with none other than Mike Chapman. As you guys have seen before, he owns Dingo right behind us, and one of the most iconic ultimate trucks that there is. So we're going to get into it and talk about the build itself and how it progressed, how it started, how it ended, and we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So Mike, if you want to introduce yourself.
I mean, you guys know who I am. I've been coming to you guys now for what, 6 years? 6.5 years? So I was
stayed for 3.
I would say probably about 6.5 or so.
Yeah, I got stationed here in 2016, so almost close to 7 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So
so when you moved here, what made you, like, why come to Ultimate Truck? Like, I know there's other places around town, and like around base, like there's how many other people that go other places.
Did you hear about Ultimate Truck, or you just looked it up on Google? Like,
it was one of those things, you know, with anything you do your research, and you guys remember the initial set of bumpers I came up here with that looked absolutely atrocious on basically a stock truck.
Which I'll try and throw a photo up.
Yeah.
So that they can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad. There was a local guy back where I'm from who offered to do it, and I kind of went the cheap route with him, and you pay the price when you go the cheap route. So I did my research. I looked at reviews. I looked at you know, Yelp, if you will, Google reviews, whatever. And then I just remember coming in and talking to you guys, and there wasn't anything pushy about what you guys were selling. You kind of understood my vision, what the end product was supposed to look like, or what I wanted it to look like.
I just remember the first time that he came in. He started working with Zach.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. First time that you came in, I remember you told me and Zach, come meet me at the bar tonight. Like, you invited us out to the bar, and I was like, I don't even know who this guy is.
Sounds like something I would do.
Friends.
Sounds like something I would do.
That's funny.
That was hilarious, though. Yeah, I remember when you came in, and it was a semi-stock truck. Like, what'd you have on it when you first came in?
Just the bumpers.
It was just the bumpers of stock.
Yeah.
It was gloss black at that time.
Yeah,
It was this truck?
Yeah, it was still.
Which, going back, why a Tundra? Like, was that always the vision, was a Tundra?
Not necessarily. I remember, so the truck was a gift to myself when I graduated college. So I looked at a bunch of different things. I actually wanted a diesel at the time, so I was looking at GMCs at the time, but I couldn't get the price point to where I felt comfortable. Just out of college, second lieutenant in the military, you know, so I wasn't too comfortable with that price point. So looked at GMC the 1500 series. It felt small, felt compact for a truck. The inside was real kind of tight in the cab. At least that's what it felt like with the seats and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went and test drove Tundra, and I mean, my dad had a Tundra, so I'd known that they're reliable, trustworthy vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
You can run them into the mud as long as you take care of it, it'll take care of you, type of thing. And Toyota's been known for their reliability. Again, that was also something that was very appealing for, you know, I don't want a whole lot of maintenance costs. So I got the price point where I wanted it. They had the truck that I wanted, and I drove it around. They gave it to me for, I think, a night or two. Yeah. I drove it around, and it was just kind of like, all right, this is my truck. This is what I want to be.
So when you started, when you got it, obviously it didn't have the bumpers on it or anything.
Right,
like
it was a stock SR5 2014.
Did you name it Dingo from the beginning?
From the beginning, I knew.
Like from day one. Honestly, though, like I truly believe that, though, because every other truck that he's bought, it's been a text conversation like, what am I naming it?
There's already a name involved.
Yeah. I don't know why. It's just my thing.
Dingo is it.
Yep. But
Australian dogs.
It does. And I mean, I knew whether it was going to be a Tundra, a GMC, a Dodge, whatever it was going to be, I knew the final product of like what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
So.
What do you mean by the final product? Like, You're talking like this is what you saw with any truck, or
Not necessarily with any truck, but just big, bad, murdered out, if you will. And so the name didn't fit him at first,
Yeah.
but it definitely fits now.
It fits now.
Yeah, it definitely fits now.
What was the first? So, did the bumpers? What was the first, I guess, level of lift that you did with it?
So the first thing we did when I came here, first, I guess if you want to talk stage one, was it 3.5? Three.
It was a 4-inch rough country.
Was it? Okay, so it was a 4-inch rough country lift. We put CPICs on that.
Yeah, were they extreme countries or fun countries?
They were extreme countries, yeah. So extreme countries, and then
gear big blocks,
yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yep, gear big block wheels, blacked out.
Yeah. It looked good. It looked
a lot better.
Yeah.
I will say that it didn't make the truck look like it had such a big chin with a stupid bumper,
Yeah.
you know, and on stock wheels and a stock height.
Yeah.
So it actually kind of started to fill in, give it that deep, like bulldog kind of stance that I was looking for.
Which, when we're talking about stages, like, when you did stage one, was that the vision at the time and then it evolved to stage two, or did you always envision doing it in stages?
So what I tell my buddies now that are kind of looking at doing the same kind of thing to their truck, you know, lifting it, is like, figure out what you want. Go drive a truck that's got a 4-inch, a 6-inch, an 8-inch, a 10-inch, and beyond. Figure out what you want and just do it in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Go
straight to the final.
It ends up being cheaper.
I agree.
It ends up being better. It's like I attribute this a lot to tattoos. I have a lot of tattoos. I enjoy getting tattooed. It's one of those things that's like, once you get one, you're never satisfied. You always want another one. You always want to cover something up, right? So driving the 4-inch rough country around, it was very much like, okay, like I got my lift. I feel higher, I feel better. And then it was kind of like, all right, I want to go higher. And I want to go a little bit bigger. I want to do a little bit more.
Yeah,
and plus we talked about it too with the rough country. I mean, it rode like the name. Rough country's evolved a lot in the past couple years.
Back then,
but
rough.
Back then, like, it rode rough. It turned rough. It rode rough. And I was kind of ready to get the feel of my truck back.
It wasn't the best kit for it, honestly.
Right.
It really wasn't.
I was trying to get the feel of the truck back, but still start working towards and you know, of course, for me, it made sense to kind of piecemeal it too, because, you know, I would deploy, I'd come home, I'd pay for parts of the truck. I'd deploy, I'd save up, I'd pay for parts of the truck. So it's kind of like I had no choice but to do it, because I just didn't have, you know, 20 grand right then and there to just drop on a vehicle. So
piece it together.
So when you had the 4, you had the wheels and the tires.
Yep.
When were you like, I'm line Xing this?
That was my next question. Yeah.
Because that's like one of the most, that's like the thing that makes Dingo.
At shows, everyone talks about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get it on the road all the time too, on base,
it's amazing,
everywhere.
Like, how many people don't know that you can do that to a vehicle, but at the same time, like, I see why a lot of people don't. Because, I mean, you know, we had freaking headaches the first time we, I shouldn't say first time, but when we did it, there was nothing but freaking headaches with it.
Yep.
And
so I'd actually seen, this was back in high school, I went to a car show. I saw a Charger that had been, I don't know if it was Line-X, but it had been sprayed with some kind of bed liner. I don't know if it was Rhino, Line-X, or, you know, one of the other companies that are out there. And it looked clean. It was a lot finer. So mine's a little bit more gritty.
Coarse.
Yeah, mine's a little bit more coarse. Theirs was a little bit smoother. It almost had more of a matte finish than it did like a bed liner finish. Like, you know, mine has texture. Theirs, you kind of had to get real close to it. But it looked clean. And, you know, having trucks before and Line-X in the beds, you know the stuff is durable. It's meant to withstand rock chips and basically your scratches, your, you know, just daily driving, you know. And at the time, Dingo was just my daily driver. I didn't have any other vehicles. So I didn't want to continuously worry about cleaning up the chrome. I hated the chrome. Cleaning up the paint.
Yeah.
You know, the pain in the ass to like wax and make sure you don't streak the paint and things like that. And you know,
You can take a brush at the car wash.
yeah, and
not to worry about it.
exactly. And the smallest, you know, if I tend to park the furthest away at any kind of grocery store, mall, anything like that. Well, I can park close now, and if somebody dings me, it's going to do more
They're
damage
hitting
to
us.
their vehicle than mine.
Yeah.
And plus, like being in the Midwest, it hails a lot. I know it can withstand not your bigger hail, but you know the quarter size that we get sometimes. It's not going to do anything to this.
Fucking tank.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So
It's
and-
literally
and-
like a tank now.
and that's kind of the vision. You know, I've been in Humvees, I've been in, you know, armored personnel carriers, and it's kind of like, all right, I want something durable,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a beast.
You
Yeah.
hit
And
that one.
again, the whole time I had this vision of my truck, it was like, I want to do something that I know nobody else is going to do. Everybody can put a lift kit on a truck. Everybody can put bumpers, accessory lights, big tires, big wheels, make it look good, crazy paint, lights everywhere, like, you know, on the underbelly and stuff. I wanted to do something like very, very different. Now, I didn't realize I'd get the attention that I got
Yeah.
with it, or that would be like the things that makes it one of the more iconic builds that you guys have done. But it was my touch and my idea. And I even remember like bringing it up to you. I think you were a little bit skeptical at first.
I was. I didn't see at that time. I really didn't know you well enough to understand your vision,
Right.
You couldn't picture it. Yeah.
and so like I didn't see it. Like I was cool with doing it because it's like, all right, cool, we're gonna do something different for once. Like instead of just our cookie cutter lift wheels tires, like
Right.
let's fucking do it. But at the same time, like I didn't see it. Like it took me a while to.
And it's
grasp
hard.
it.
It's hard to see it.
Yeah,
At
it
first.
took me a
But
while.
now it's like you couldn't see it without it.
Oh God, no. I couldn't see Dingo without it. Like there's literally been times where I'm looking at it and I'm just like, just imagine if it was still painted.
Right.
Like if it was just paint.
What
like,
is the paint color to that?
Black.
It's
Is it
black.
black?
Yeah.
Which is another reason why it was great to do the Line X, because the door jambs are all black and everything, because
Yeah.
those aren't Line X.
Yep.
So
That's
yeah, it makes it really nice. But yeah, like you said, like I was a little skeptical in the beginning, but then like as I got to know him, it
Makes sense.
And I even took it
yeah,
one.
the build made sense at that point.
And I even took it one step further. I know you've shown this, like even the inside door panels, like the kick panels,
Yep.
are all Line X. And I did that because when you start building a truck like this, or even any vehicle you have that you care about, you notice every little nick, you know, every little thing.
Yep.
And I know for me, I would never use my boot to kick open the door, but you know, my passengers might. So I would notice like discolorations or nicks, and it's
Yeah.
plastic, right? So you're kind of like, I can't get that out. I can't just buff that out. So I was like, how do I protect this? Well, I'm a Line X it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna make this thing inside and
Right.
out of tank.
That's funny.
So when we did the Line X, I can't remember exactly. Did we do the Line X and that was it at that time, or did we go up and lift when we did the Line
I think we
X?
went up and lift when we did that. I think it was,
8-inch and everything.
yeah, I think that was all part of that stage.
There's
Okay.
a nice touch you did to the hood too, right? You put a big Nebraska logo and then went with the.
Absolutely not. I would never do that.
I mean,
No,
I mean,
what he doesn't know is
yeah,
that
what I don't
is
know doesn't hurt me.
100
But I mean, you guys
I
know.
thought you were a big Nebraska fan.
Yeah, hell no. You guys know my team is Alabama, but I don't even have an Alabama. Well, I guess now I do
do,
with the
yeah.
sticker.
Yeah.
But
Now we
before, as long as you've known me, I've never put any bumper stickers. I've never put any.
It's such an Alabama thing.
I didn't put
Bumper
anything on
stickers.
there.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
I didn't put any like team association, nothing on there.
I mean,
It's-
other
it's
than the Ultimate Truck logo's always been crimson red.
true.
It's always been
Yep,
crimson.
but
That
it
was
was
a
just
nice
the
touch
the,
too, that
the recent touch
Alabama.
with the Alabama A in Ultimate.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like
That was sick.
that was one thing. I was like, well, we got to replace the decal. Like, let's make it one off. Let's make it say
that
Mike
was
Chapman.
Yeah, that
Like,
was really cool.
was
Yeah.
nice.
That's gonna get a big hit when he comes
Oh,
down
I'm
to
sure it will.
Alabama.
I'm sure
yeah,
it will.
that's gonna be a big hit.
But let's go back and talk about changing it to stage 2.
Yeah, so I just remember I mean, it just hit me one day. I was either driving or cleaning or doing something. I was like,
Well, I think
it's time for a bigger lift.
did we exchange phone numbers at that time, or
I think so. I think it was around. It was probably after the rough country because I knew I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
I was just
because I remember getting a text from you, and you're like, "What do you think of this?" And you sent me a photo of something that I was like, "Dude, that ain't gonna work." But at that point, I think I really saw the vision.
yeah.
And I was like, let's talk about what we got for options that will work.
Right.
And that's where we where we landed on stage 2.
Yep. And I think that was when we did the 8-inch
Ready lift.
ready lift
Yep.
on 37s.
Yeah,
Also
37
C-Picks.
Extreme Countries.
Yep. And then we used fuel. We did fuel wheels with that.
Yep.
Blacked out again.
Which we had to switch. Oh, that's right. You had 18s on the 4.5.
Yep.
And we had to switch to the
20s.
20s in order to clear properly.
Yep. And then I had that for about, I don't know, 6 months, and then we added the coilovers in the back.
Yeah, after we had done a second Tundra
Yep.
that had the coilovers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I remember you came and drove it, and you're like, "Yeah, we're switching." Order
Yeah.
'em.
Yeah, we went ahead and did that. So that was all part of, even though there was like a 6-month span, that was part of stage 2.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And like,
that's
then there was stage 2, and then there was stage 2.5.
because when did we? At what point did we change out the bumpers? Because
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't keep those trash bumpers on there.
Ooh, you're right.
Those were
yes,
like one
you
of
did.
those
You
were like
did
one of the
with
first
8-inch.
things. Did I?
Yeah, they were on there for a little bit. Bit
Okay.
because remember we had to back order the bumpers,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and so but we wanted to get the lift done.
Yeah.
and so
That was part of that 2.5, I think, is what
I
you're
think it
talking
was
about.
the 2.5 because the 2.5 is where I think we really started getting into the personalization of the truck. It was more than a lift, wheels, tires at that point. That's
Yeah.
when it was like, dude, we're making this mine at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
I would agree.
and I think that's ultimately where Dingo's true vision started.
Yeah,
Like, I think there was always a vision, but I think it finally came out in 2.5.
yeah. And I think we'd built up enough of a rapport because a lot of that at that time too was like with the headache rack and different things in the back and the light bar across the top. A lot of those touches were things you thought of and just brought up to me when I was deployed. I never saw pictures of that.
Which that's another thing worth talking about too, is like the fact that you trusted us to just keep your truck and work on it and go grab it and everything
Oh,
while
yeah.
while you're deployed. Like
Yeah.
that, like, you're not gonna find that in another customer really. Like, there's just a lot of trust that comes with that. And like that says a lot to us.
Right.
But then at the same time, that like kind of gives me the idea that it's like you trust that my vision is in line with your vision.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was nice to be able to be like, hey, what do you think about this? Do it.
Yeah,
Like,
super easy.
and we just go pick up the truck
Yep,
and
super easy.
it'd be done by the time you're back from a deployment.
Or it'd already be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, super easy.
Yeah.
Super easy.
So 2.5, let's see. 2.0, we did the Ready Lift 8, we did the Extreme Countries, we did the 20-inch fuel recoils,
Recoils.
and the Line X. I would say that's 2.
Yep.
And then 2.5,
Did the coilovers, the bumpers. That was when the headache rack and the lights came into play, I think, too.
the headache rack, I don't know if you know this or not, but that rack got discontinued right after we put it on.
Really?
Yeah,
Meant to
we were gonna put it on another one. We're talking a couple weeks after we put it on.
Oh, wow.
We were gonna put it on another one, and we looked it up, and the part number was gone, and we called them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we discontinued it. Not enough people wanted it." And I'm like, "That's perfect."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that means
No
he's
one
gonna
else
have
will get it.
something that not a lot of people will
Yeah,
have. Like,
yeah, I'm not gonna have. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's the, again, it's just another piece. But yeah, the lights came next, and then that's when I kind of, again, I wanted another personal touch. How to control these lights? Well, we could have done.
that's the best part of this build.
And dude, like when I bring this thing on base, like all my flying guys, all my flying buddies, that's the thing they gravitate first to is the
So-
lights.
Check this out.
If you don't know, this is for those of you listening, if you don't know, we did a custom switch panel in Dingo. It's an S-Pod system, but we changed out the paneling to look essentially like cockpit switches.
Yeah, they're called red guarded switches. So you open up the red guarded switch, and you have a metal switch that's usually on the jet. It's connected to a cannon plug, and when you flick it down, it's open. And when that red guarded switch is open, you know that it's more than likely that switch is on or being used. And it's a quick kill type thing where you close the red guarded switch, it kills whatever item you're using, And then in this case, which is super nice, we also have a kill switch. So even if I were to open up and turn those things to the on position, they wouldn't be on if that kill switch is on.
But it's just such a cool feeling. Like flipping those switches down and then hitting a switch.
You're
like,
in the freaking cockpit. It's
freaking awesome.
And it's one of those things that nobody else will ever have. Yeah. And it adds to the, I don't want to say mystique, but just legend of Dingo, if you will.
I feel like most people don't know about that. Like, I mean, I take him to shows all the time.
Right.
We never show him the inside, though.
No, I never show people the inside. And that, in my opinion, is like the one thing on this build that's like, dude, that's Mike's.
Blow your mind,
yeah. Like, that's what makes it the truck. That's probably my favorite.
And I remember the idea about it, too, came because that damn sunglass thing would rattle. And it was always a pain in the ass. And I was like, can we just get rid of this freaking thing?
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a second. My little touch to myself, like, I fly, so let's make this like...
We make this happen.
Yeah. And you guys made it happen.
Yeah, Don did some killer work on that.
Yeah.
Like, it took him a while to figure that one out, how to get that in there and get it looking clean and everything.
But he did a phenomenal job. He did a phenomenal job.
That was freaking awesome.
Burning blades and stuff, trying to melt the plastic, so it's a perfect finish.
Yeah.
Funny.
It was done really, really, really well. Yeah. All my pilot buddies absolutely love that feature.
I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure. That's a big talk, I bet, of this. Yeah, because it's one of those, like you said, you're only going to notice it if you're in there.
Right.
And you're only going to notice it if you know what it is.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's just so cool. And so when we did the bumpers and everything, we obviously added the winch, which, I don't know, like, did we need to add a winch? Probably not.
No.
But it'd be such a weird void if we did.
I was going to say, it fills out the bumper. And again, it's a red touch, and there's not a whole lot of color on the truck.
Factor 55,
So, will I use it? Maybe. Do
Probably
I need
not.
it? No.
Yeah. Well,
do I need anything with this truck?
When we had all the parts just sitting here, because remember we waited on back order. I don't remember if it was the front bumper or the rear bumper, but we were waiting on back order for quite some time with some parts.
Right.
And like you and I were going back and forth, and I was like, hey, I got this winch that I took off of somebody else's truck. Like, it's a really nice one. Like, do you want it? It's going to cost this much. Otherwise, I'll send it back. And you're like, yeah, hold on to it. And then, like, I think it was like a couple months later, and you're like, do I really need that winch? And I'm like, no, we'll just get you the cheaper one.
Yeah.
I was like, because like in my head too, I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool, but like, who's gonna know?
I was going to say, and I think if there's one thing we skimped on as far as price and cost wise, it's probably the winch, because it's probably the less likely thing to be used. Yeah. But could I pull a car out or help somebody in need? Absolutely.
I don't remember what size it is.
I think it's 10.
Is it a 10?
Yeah, I think it's a 10.
That makes sense. 10
or 12.
I don't think I would have put an 8 in there.
Yeah, no.
But then I also might have.
I'm almost positive.
In my head, I'm sitting here
I'm almost
like,
positive it's a 10. I still have all the paperwork in there. We can always look it up.
Yeah.
And then stage 3.
Stage 3 came about. I don't even think any of us were ready for stage 3. I think it was a conversation you and I were just having.
Well,
and we were like, are we there yet? Are we at your vision yet?
And it was that, and it was like, remember at World of Wheels when I came in second to the Raminator?
Oh, that just pissed me off.
I was like, man, because you even told me,
I
like,
don't know what it is.
You were like,
you and Tony, but like,
you were like, and I love Tony's truck. I think his truck is absolutely beautiful, and it's perfect in so many ways. But I would get all the attention for the texture, and everybody loves Pet and Dingo, right? But I would never get.
I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
everybody loves Pet and Dingo.
Everybody loves Pet and Dingo, but I would always lose because his was just outright bigger. Yeah. So I remember just being like, we're not at the vision yet. I wanted more of a wide stance because if you remember in stage 2.5, the wheels and tires. Yeah, it was a positive offset.
Which we hadn't explored. Yours was the first one that we did an 8-inch on, and we stayed true to spec on.
Right.
Which but then again, before I say this, at that time though, we were not in the mindset of we can exceed factory limits. We can exceed manufacturer limits. Like we can make things look better with minimal modification. And so like we followed everything to spec. And like that's the one thing while Dingo evolved, we evolved. And I think you remember the time I came to your house, like Don and I came to your house and we're like, hey, we need to see Dingo so we can see how much clearance there is so we can build another truck with a more aggressive stance.
Right.
And I think it was at that time where we were like, yeah, he needs a more aggressive stance. The positive offset wasn't cutting it anymore.
No, it wasn't. It was like, it didn't make him look like he never did leg day, but just like
It didn't give that bulldog stance.
Yeah, he didn't get the bulldog stance that I wanted.
Yeah.
So I think I came in one day, and I was just like, let's do it all.
How much? I think you came in, and I remember it was a conversation of, we need to go the next step. How much money do I need to spend? And I'm like, I don't know, 20 plus grand. And you're like, work it up.
Yep.
And I'm like, done. Like, this is where the vision really, like,
Yep.
immediately I'm like, dude, this is it.
Yep.
And we had a hard time with wheels. I
Yeah,
remember that.
I remember that because we wanted the armories.
Yeah.
Like,
We
it
had
took
a
us
hard
forever.
time finding
Unavailable, or
wheels.
what was the deal with
The
it?
size.
They
Oh,
didn't
the
make
size.
the size and the offset that we needed, because the big thing, all they made was like that positive offset or that zero offset kind of wheel.
Yeah.
And the big thing that we needed was the back spacing in order to give it that stance that I think we all wanted with Dingo.
Mm-hmm.
That took some time. And honestly, it still wasn't enough, and we had to add the spacers.
Yep.
Which the spacers were a whole different story. Like, we didn't need to add them, but
We wanted them. It
Well,
did make a visual
Yeah.
difference.
yeah, it made a big difference on that.
But
so.
it was, we thought everything was it was going to be like a 6-month project because everything was back ordered, and Bulletproof cuts everything like when you order it.
Made to order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, then I don't know. It was probably like 5 weeks later. You're like, hey, we got everything in.
Yeah.
We're going.
You're ready,
And
yeah.
I was like,
And I think you were like, let's wait until I go on deployment, because if I remember correctly, you went on deployment in like August or something like that.
Probably.
August or September,
Yep.
early September.
yep.
Or maybe it was slightly before that, because Ice Cream Cruise is what we took him to, which
Yep.
is early August.
Yep.
So it was in July, and they're like, let's wait until I deploy, and then you guys can have the truck, finish it,
Yep.
whatever. And
And you won't have to worry about like, do you want it? Are you driving it? It was just here.
Yeah. And I just remember that stage, getting all the parts in.
It did help that I sold my house recently too, like in June or
that too.
like May. So I was like, 20 grand, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, screw it.
Fuck it.
And you had just sold Moose at that time.
Yeah, but I did a straight swap basically. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I did a straight swap, which, man, I miss Moose. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Moose. Yeah, that
But-
was sweet comments.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, let's do it. Like, we got to get it done. We're finally gonna hit it.
Yeah, I remember while we were building it, like,
I remember I
While
was
it
here
was-
for the unwrapping.
yeah, and while we were, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
we were unboxing all this stuff, and you showed up.
Yeah, remember that?
I do remember that.
All the blue wrapping paper and stuff. Like, it took.
They wrapped the crap. out
Yeah,
of that
it took
product.
us a long time to
Yeah.
go get everything, and you guys still had to like go out and get some extra parts, just like shave stuff down, like the knuckles and stuff.
Oh yeah, there was quite a few things that we had to modify, which is cool. I mean,
And then
it happens.
with that going as high as we did, 12 inches, we had to do the re-gearing as well with that.
Yeah,
So we re-geared it.
the re-gear made a big difference for the drivability.
So much
Like, you
bigger.
couldn't even drive the thing on the interstate before that. Like, you couldn't
Just
get up
such
to
a heavy
speed.
truck, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took forever to get up to speed.
Yeah.
And you felt like you were in the throttle 100% every single time.
Yep.
It was extremely annoying.
Yeah, and I mean,
remember that.
and since then we did this speedometer calibration.
That's right. We never did the speedometer calibration until we went 40s and gears.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, I
the
was just-
speedometer's just been off for 6 years. And not a little bit off, it's been a lot
Yeah.
off for 6
But
years.
then, like, I could finally focus on like the small shit, right? So like once we finished the big stuff, I had a lot of pieces on the inside to kind of make it match that tactical, rugged outside, the same, getting rid of all that chrome bullshit on the inside. So putting the AJT design stuff all on the inside, blacking out all the chrome.
Yep.
That kind of, changing the shift knob, that and all the, all the knobs on the radio panel and stuff, the infotainment center, that kind of was like, okay, he's done. Like, I'm focusing on such small details now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The outside is good.
The outside is
Suspension's good.
done.
Yeah, like I honestly don't know. Like, I mean, do you have any more? Like, is there anything else that you haven't done to it that you've wanted to do, or is Dingo done?
I think Dingo's done.
Yeah,
I don't know what else there could be to do to him.
right.
And because we don't want to go into the body. and start doing that. I think with the Baja mounts that we have with the spare tires, I think it just kind of sets it off again and like just makes them look perfect. And even when I drive them now, I'm so tall and I'm so up there and I'm so much bigger than everybody else that there is no itch anymore. Like, it's very rare I might see off that another truck comes up to me and is eye to eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're eye to eye with semis, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, I love when I pull up to my house and I'm eye to eye with my second level.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's funny. You sent me that picture. That's funny. I mean, I was looking down on a fire truck like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't realize how tall you are until, and the best is, you pull up to the gate at base, and that's got to be one of the funniest things. Because if you get a short like SF guy or girl, those poor guys, they work their ass off, and you walk up and they just, like, the last time I was on base with Dingo, like earlier this week, I think, or maybe it was last week, but the girl just looks up at me. She's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. What did you
and I'm literally just like leaning down, and she's like, "Really?" And took my ID. Like, I was like, "Yeah." The guys like it, but the girls, the girls are kind of like, what the fuck?
Until they hop in, yeah.
Yeah. Until you hop in, until you get a ride, and then everything changes when you get a ride.
Which, that's the other thing too, the exhaust. Like,
oh yeah.
The exhaust note on it is freaking cool. Like,
Yeah,
that's always been a good
Big
one.
rumble, yeah.
Yeah, it's X-piped, and again, it's not something I took it to, instead of just straight piping it single like it used to be, I went X-pipe and turned it into duals. Not that I know of. The only true dual exhaust that comes on the Tundras, at least in my year frame and up to I think like 2021, 2022, was a TRD Pro. So even the Platinums, like the nice luxury trucks, if you will, you still had a single exhaust. So I'm running an SR5 with two. So again,
it sounds
perfect. The exact note that we wanted to hit.
Oh yeah. And if I remember, did you get it done and then go back?
Yeah, so the guy was cool enough. He was like, "Hey, look, I can give you up to 24. I think he said 48 hours to try out." Because I think I went with a MagnaFlow, if I remember correctly. I think I went MagnaFlow, like their deepest sounding one. I can't remember what it's called now. He's like, "I can give you like 48 hours before it's like rendered useless, right?" So I was like, "Okay, cool." And I knew as soon as I pulled out of his parking lot and paid, I was like, this is not deep enough. So I called him back. He was busy the rest of the day. Came back the next morning. He's like, "Let's just go to X-pipe. Like, let's just go to straight piping it, dude." So I was like, "Send it." And he sent it. And as soon as he cranked it, I was like, "That's it. That's perfect." And then you get into it. I think if I were going to do anything else.
What the hell are you guys doing? What are you doing?
I think if I were going to do anything else to the inside, I might do like Dynamat, just to dampen.
To hush it up a little bit.
Yeah, just to dampen some of the inside noise. But then again, like, I also don't care.
What up?
Hi.
What's up, boss? How you doing?
Good.
So, if Dingo's done, what do you think Alabama's going to think of it?
I think the folks down there, I'm gonna get plenty of attention. I think more attention than up here.
I can agree.
I think living down there, lifting your truck is a big thing. Everybody does it. Most of the time, you can tell the difference between a well-done truck and a, hillbilly truck, if you will.
Right.
I think it's gonna get a lot of attention. I think that Alabama A is gonna get a lot of attention. That's on there.
If people can see it.
Yeah, people can see it.
They gotta be a little tall.
Are you gonna be the tallest truck out there?
I'm gonna be one of them.
One of them, yeah.
I would say there's probably some tall trucks out
There's some big boys out there. There's big boys
The front
anywhere.
end's lifted though, the back end's kind of slim.
That's the Carolina squad.
Carolina squad.
Yeah, we're not in Carolina. I
Two
think
different borders there.
I think he will definitely stand out. Again, the Linux will make him stand out more than anything else.
Yeah, because honestly, dude, I don't think you're gonna run into another truck with that on it like anytime in the near future.
Nope.
Like,
I think I set that precedent.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Let's just say you were the first.
Yeah. I think I set
Even
that
though
precedent.
I know you weren't, because there was Sequoia in there.
Yep.
Your buddies.
Yeah, my buddy did his Sequoia.
Yeah,
but it
that
just wasn't lifted. He just did a
No,
stock.
it was stock.
Yeah,
It was stock.
he's crazy. CG. But we did all the headlights and taillights too. I totally forgot about that.
Speaking of taillights.
Yeah, you want to tell that
Hey,
story?
you want to tell that story,
Would you like
Chris?
to let everybody
Yeah,
know the type of phone call I got when I was?
We ordered you some new tail lights. We put them in, and it was
Yeah.
good to go. They look great.
Yeah.
Different
But,
design.
Yeah, while Mike was deployed, like he got a really nice phone call. Why don't you go ahead and tell the
Oh
story?
yeah, I will actually, because I was told to drive this piece of shit Jeep out,
Piece of shit.
put it in park, right?
Both
Not
of you.
knowing that you need to put it in first gear, you need to turn the music off, you need to touch this button just to get it to sit like a regular car. So I'm like, okay, I just back it up, put it in park, I'm good to go.
There's no
I
park.
did what I was told to do. Then I leave, I get a call, or maybe you send me a picture or something.
I just sent him a
Jeep-
picture. That's all I did. I sent him a
Jeep
picture.
rolled straight into the taillight. And this Jeep has this big ass, what do you call
Stinger.
this thing? Stinger.
Stinger.
It definitely stung Dingo.
Yeah.
Because they got him in the
Stung
taillight.
him right in the ass.
He didn't like it
Again.
either.
Sure, I was the last one to touch the Jeep, but there was no instruction on how to make this thing stop. Hey, put a block under it. Do nothing. I didn't know it was going to just roll down there, but whatever. It did. Got you some new taillights, though. And
We did get new tail
good
lights.
to go.
We did get new tail lights.
Yeah, that was the one thing where I was like, he's never gonna let us keep the truck again. Like, he's never gonna let us, because at that point, I think I was driving him for the weekend or something
Yeah.
like that, because it happened on a Friday.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
I don't
so
know.
glad.
I think about it now though. Like I don't think there's anything left stock on Dingo.
I mean, a little bit stock, but everything that we can change has been changed,
Right.
and so
Right. We've upgraded
Were
just
those
about
things
everything.
changed too, the things under the headlights? Or was I...
those
didn't
were
you-
changed when we changed bumpers.
Gotcha, just to give it that contour look. Where
No, those are
Fit?
factory.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you did something.
My headlights?
No, that piece
The
that's
plastic
underneath the
piece.
headlight.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
remember how your old bumpers used to wrap all the way up to the fender?
Yeah.
And when we changed to the addictive, we had to get the factory pieces
Yep.
to replace that.
Yep.
That's all it was? Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just a factory
I thought you did
piece.
something crazy to it.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dingo's.
I think it's going to be a hit in Bama. It's going to be, it's going to be surreal not to be, 2 minutes up the road, or if,
I know.
if I need anything,
You're
or
fucking telling me.
Yeah, if I need
Dingo
anything.
ain't gonna be around for shows and events anymore.
Yep. So that'll be.
So-
I think that'll be the surreal part of it. But yeah, I think he'll be a hit.
Yeah. I'm glad you're letting us keep him, like through the end of the season,
Yeah.
essentially.
It makes the
because-
most sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, like, we got to show him off quite a bit last year, but we only got to show him off at the end of the year.
Right.
Like, I want to be able to take him to as many shows as possible, get as many eyes on it and everything, not just for our sake, just for showing off how badass of a truck it is.
Yeah.
And potentially create people to have more ideas of what to do with their trucks and just
Yeah,
give them...
Yeah. Think outside the
give
box a
them
little
their
bit.
chips,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the biggest thing with this is it's so outside the box.
Yeah.
And so,
It's
Give a young kid a dream, like, one day I'm going to have a truck like that. 'Cause
Yeah.
That thing is fucking massive.
yeah, man.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think the hardest part now is not starting to fuck around with my Ram, my daily driver. I think that's the hardest part now. Like,
We've already
I,
had
dro-
that.
I drove him for the better part of the week last week, and then I just get in the Ram, and I'm like, fucking Ram. And I absolutely,
stop.
I absolutely adore my Ram. I love that thing. It drives so smooth. It's so clean. It's got the upgraded LED package, so it's not like I need lights or anything. Like, there's really nothing really to do to that truck.
Is there a name for that truck?
Ironhide.
Ironhide?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one yet. Okay.
Yeah, Ironhide.
It doesn't get referenced much because
it hasn't
it
been
doesn't
worked
come
on.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't come into the shop.
Yeah.
Like,
But I mean, with Ironhide, it's like this gets me 6 miles to the gallon on a good
at
day.
best.
On a good day.
Yep. With a headwind.
I get 15 to 17 in Ironhide, so it's kind of like I don't want to lose that,
Yeah.
and I do enjoy the fact that it is stock. It's easy. It's still so smooth because. Even though I got a lot of my ride quality back, in all honesty, like I got my turn radius back, which I think shocked me the most when I got into a 12. I was like, 12-inch lift? No fucking way I'm gonna be able to turn this sumbitch. Gotta go wide with everything. No,
You can crank this thing. all the way.
I got a better turn radius in this than I did in the 4, than I did in the 8, that I'm pretty sure I probably had in the fucking stock.
Yeah.
So, like, I got a lot back with this and the ride quality back with this, but it took me 2 lifts to get there.
Yeah.
I like driving, you know, he's my grocery getter. You know, Ironhide, if I got to drive 30 minutes up the road, cool. I'm going to come back with maybe a little less than a full tank if that's what I started on.
Yeah.
Take him, I'm rolling at if I started a full tank, I'm coming back at a half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no fucking around with that.
Yeah.
So, it's hard not to tinker with it. I do want to I think if I put like a 3-inch, 4-inch lift on there, he'd probably be fine. 35s, he'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
But then you start thinking about that and knowing the way I am, again, with tattoos, okay, it's not going to be enough.
It's an itch you're going to want to scratch.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough. So if I just don't think about it too much, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I'd much rather, in the back of my head, I know the next truck I really want to work on or build up is similar to the Raminator, but in my own vision. Again, I would much rather do it to a diesel, something with a lot of power.
Yeah.
Not to say that, you know, the 1500 gasser doesn't have the power. It does, but we really wanted to start on Moose and start doing some fun things with Moose.
Rest in peace.
Yep, but the engine had its issues. So I really want to go back to that diesel because then I have a truck that can pull something like this, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So I'd rather save my money knowing that down the road I'll have another diesel, you know?
You have to make a special trip to get it done out here.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to work the logistics of that, but...
We're going to probably just end up getting a 1-ton and a big gooseneck trailer.
Yep.
Hey,
I don't know how
Mike calls me, hey, I got another idea. Cool, I'll send the truck and trailer.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you might be making that long haul trip to come pick it up.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I mean, I think just getting it down there to him at the end of this year.
Oh, you guys are going to get stopped so much.
Yeah.
You guys are going to get stopped. Whether you stop at, you know, any gas station you stop
Everybody
at.
keeps asking me, are you going to drive it? I'm like, no.
No.
I literally won't
Bro,
be
you
able
have
to
to
pass
fill
the
up
gas.
every mile.
Dude, you'd have to.
I won't be able
Gas.
to pass a gas station.
Every
Yeah.
gas station, fill up already.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
No, man, we're gonna miss Dingo. We're gonna miss you.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna miss you guys
Fucking
too.
been an awesome customer, awesome friend.
I appreciate it.
Like, just been a good time. And so, been a good
It's like looking back, it's all starting to come a little full circle for me too. You know, I didn't even know where Omaha was on a fucking map when I got stationed here. And the first thing I thought about when I got here was like, I cannot wait to leave this fucking place.
Yeah.
That still has not changed. I still hate this place. But it's the people, the relationships, just like they always say in the military, it's the people, the relationships that you make along the way that kind of make where you're at a lot better. I thought it'd be a lot easier to just kind of be, all right, time to leave, peace out, see ya. The excitement to go back home, the excitement to go back south and finally get out of Omaha. It's finally my turn. That's still there, but it's a lot harder to leave the people.
Yeah.
So that part sucks.
Don't cry.
Yeah, that part
I'll
sucks.
still be here.
Yeah.
We're always welcome to come back and visit.
Yeah, and when you guys, I hope you guys start doing shows in the South. Start making long haul.
I hope we do
That's
too.
the goal,
But, I hope we do too. But I think that's a little farther away than
It might be, but I'll be
we
down
wanna
there.
be. But
Dingo can make a surprise visit at one of the Southern Ultimate shows.
well, like we said, we might be down in
Orlando. I could.
So
It might take me forever, but I can get there.
I'll hit a few gas stations.
I can get there. I'm gonna have to pre-order some tires from you for the replacements.
Bring them down on the
Yeah,
plane.
just bring them down on the plane.
Yeah.
Check them. Check baggage.
Check the wheels, tires. That's funny.
All right. Well, that's all that we got. So
Hey, man. Thanks
I
for your
appreciate.
time.
yeah,
I
thanks
appreciate
for
everything,
coming
guys.
out. Thanks for doing our first behind the build, and so
Yeah, happy to be here.
yeah, it's gonna be an awesome time. And
Appreciate
so,
it. Thank you for everything.
Yeah.